the circuit here, Clara. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come.
What a crack! Oh, crack!
Welcome back to Retro Motorsport for 2025. First up, it's 2012 and the New Zealand Motocross champs from the hills and valleys of Timaru.
New Zealand's best motocross riders are in Timaru for round one of the 2012 New Zealand Motocross Championships in association with Honda, Kawasaki, KTM, Suzuki and Yamaha. We caught up with the leading contenders in MX1 before the start of race one on their preparation and track conditions.
All right, you've had 2 weeks since the last time out at Woodville. What have you been up to? How have you been preparing for this race?
Just usual stuff, riding a lot, training, running off the bike stuff, and yeah, like just doing races like Woodville and stuff, and that always helps for these races. The race preparation is good for coming into this series.
You've had Woodville recently and the Gold Nuggets over the West Coast last weekend. How's your preparation been?
It could have been better, but considering the time I had coming off an injury, it's been pretty good. I think I'm as good as I'm going to get for this round, and if I can't win today, then I don't think I needed more preparation.
Track conditions, muddy, dusty, it's a bit of everything out there. How'd you find it?
I didn't find it too bad. I mean, it hasn't really formed to the lines that we're sort of looking for at the moment, but as time goes on, it'll change and it'll rut up and do what it needs to do, so looking forward to that.
Ben, how's today been for you?
Yeah, so far so good. I was able to qualify first, and it's my first time here to Timaru, so just getting used to the track to start with, and we had a nice long session, which is quite similar to overseas, so it got me some good time out there on the track and managed to get pole position. Conditions are quite tough, it's quite one line in spots, and just got to pick and choose where you make your passes, but overall it was good. It's I'm riding my bike that I'll be racing in Australia for 2012, and it's good we're doing a bit of testing here, and it's always good to do it in race conditions, so yeah, happy to be out there.
Race one for the MX1 class, 20 minutes plus one lap, and some say the most competitive field in the last 20 years at the New Zealand Motocross Championships, and a good start from the centre of the circuit there. Looks like maybe one of the Honda riders. Now that could be Hamish Dobbin from Warkworth, just north of Auckland. We'll check on that when they come just a little bit closer, but not a fantastic start, Jamie McCarthy, for Ben Townley.
Yeah, I think Ben Townley's actually gone down because he's not in that leading group of about 10 riders, with Cody Cooper settling into that second position. 30 riders attempting to qualify for the 24 positions, and as you said, Phil, this is one of the best lineups we have seen in New Zealand for a long, long time.
Well, it is. You've got to go back to the days of probably the Patterson brothers and Steve Harrison, and probably when the English imports came out here. But this is 2011, and that is the style of Hamish Dobbin. Now, Hamish Dobbin is another one of the riders in New Zealand that's been beset with injury problems. Finished third in the World Junior Motocross Championships when it was held at Digger McEwen Park a few seasons ago, but has been battling a few injuries. Great to see him back to full strength on the CR450 Honda. Cody Cooper chasing him hard on the Motor City Suzuki. Cooper, the defending champion, and Cooper's got in front here, so the number one goes into the lead around this tight section here at Pleasant Point. This motocross track's got just about everything on it, from drop-away jumps to high-flying sky shot jumps. You name it, it's all there.
Fantastic layout. Josh Coppin's back there in the third position, and Ben Townley is starting to work his way through well inside the top 10 now, so certainly the reports we got on that opening lap off the race start, the top qualifier Townley went down and actually had to pick the bike back up as we watch Josh Coppins at work.
There he is. This is the Lizard out of Motueka, just north of Nelson.
Former number 2 in the world on the MXDK Rockstar Yamaha.
Another one that's had his problems with injuries leading into this one. Although the form horse, I guess, was the Woodville Grand Prix just a couple of weeks ago, and Ben Townley cleaned that up. But don't discount this man. He is one of the hard men of world motocross. There's no mistaking that.
So Cody Cooper, the race leader. This is the battle for second and third. And just in the back of shot, we've caught our first glimpse of Ben Townley up into the fourth position.
Well, Ben Townley will want to get right back into this fight here. Dobbin's not going to let Coppins get away, though, as they go over the finish line jump here, the backflip motocross track.
Yeah, fantastic facility. Also holding the round for the New Zealand Supercross. If you go back through the field, it's 7:41.
And that's Gisborne's Matt Hunt, another one that's moved up to the MX1 class. He was always looked looked to me to be too big when he was a junior rider, but he was a very successful junior rider. 5 times a national champion, now firmly into the senior ranks as we watch these faster boys starting to come through.
We heard in the pre-race interviews a couple of the riders just saying how dry it was here, but there was a mixture of some soft spots around the track, so challenging conditions here for the first moto in MX1.
Well, the South Canterbury Club doing a pretty good job with the watering as well.
There's Justin McDonald,
past MX1 champion, with his own little battle going on there.
Yeah, with Michael Phillips making his return to motocross, carrying an early season injury before Christmas in testing for the New Zealand Supercross champs. He didn't contest that. As the leaders now in lap traffic, Cody
Ben
Cooper.
Townley down the inside of Cooper to take the front running as they go across the tabletop at the top end of the circuit now, and the lap riders got caught up in that, and this man benefited more than anyone else. This is the famous BT 101. This is Ben Townley at his very best.
Making his return from AMA and the World Championships. He took some time out from the Worlds. He's regrouped back here in New Zealand, also contesting the full Australian Championships for the Carlton Dry Honda team.
Well, I think when Ben came back from Europe this year, he realised that when he had that crash in training and he broke his jaw and he suffered a fairly serious concussion, it was a lot more serious than he thought it was. So he did the sensible thing. He came back to New Zealand, and as you said, Jamie, he regrouped. He's got back to full fitness, although he tells me he's not quite at full fitness yet. Look at this battle here. Cody Cooper on Josh Coppins.
Yeah, this is the championship last year. Coppins goes by through to seconds. Talking to Cody before the start of this race, he said he's just struggled with this layout in Timaru. It's not one of his most favourite circuits.
No, but I guess the beauty of the championships is it's 4 rounds long now, so anyone can have a good day or a bad day, and 4 totally different circuits too. We go to Digger McEwen Motocross Park in Taupo, we go to Harrisville in Pukekohe, we go to the Red Clay of Patatonga, and of course we're here in Timaru.
That was Brendan Frecklington and Kawasaki running just outside the top 15 as we go to the checkered flag. Ben Townley, what a storming ride considering he put the bike down off the race start. Josh Coppins closely following behind in second. So Ben Townley with the victory in Moto 1 for MX1 set the fastest lap on the way to victory as well. Josh Coppins finishing second ahead of reigning champ Cody Cooper, Justin McDonald, Todd Waters, Michael Phillips, Hamish Dobbin and Hayden Clark.
Definitely earned my money in that one. I went down in the start. I had a good start. Cody picked a few gates wider than me and was able to swoop into the turn. We came in pretty even, but he just carried momentum, and I didn't want to run into the back of them. I ended up sliding out, so I had to pick myself up and dust myself off, and was able to come back through. I had a bit of a mechanical problem. I snapped the rear brake pedal off, so it was tough. It took me a while to actually find the rhythm of how to ride without a rear brake. It's not something you usually sometimes I do it practicing. It's good for technique, but I've never done it racing, so it took me a while to understand that, and I was able to win in the end. So I just did what I had to in the end, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot tougher now. They've put some water down and the track's getting rough, so days only going to get harder.
The MX2 class is next, and we caught up with the 3 leading contenders, including the champion, Daryl King.
DK, you're back for another season, 43 years old. How are you going today?
Feel really good. Hey, I won qualifying, was the fastest out there, which was pretty pleasing. And the Yamaha Wazer 250 is going fantastic. I love this track. It's just a fast track with big jumps, and get a chance to hang it out and just keep momentum up around the track. So feeling great. I've had a cool 2 weeks and took some time out and went overseas and spent some time laying on the beach and snow skiing and mucking around, and come back and getting ready for the Nationals.
You've just come off a pretty dominant performance at Woodville. How are you feeling coming into today's racing?
Yeah, no, I feel strong. It was a good start to 2012. Woodville went well. I just got to keep the momentum going and be consistent and get the KTM team up front every race.
How's the body? Have you been doing much training or keeping up with that?
Yeah, I've been off the bike training stuff. I did round Taupo this year cycling, and spent a lot of time cycling. Obviously, once I had the plate out of my foot and stuff, I couldn't do a whole lot of motorbike riding. But the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to get out on my bike, my motocross bike, doing some riding in the mornings before work and trying to put in the hours on the bike. I would like to have done more before this, but as I said, I was just going to feel my way into this, so I didn't really expect to be where I am today. But hey, that's cool. I think from here, I hopefully will just keep chipping away and improving.
Fantastic to see some of the past champions back in MX2. You can see for yourself the start line absolutely full. Away they go, and a good start coming from the right-hand side of the circuit as we look at it, and it's a Suzuki out in the front. And I've got a feeling that may just be Kane Lamont. We'll have a look as they come a whole lot closer.
Yeah, I think that might be Kane Lamont. You might be right there with the white outfit, so a good start there.
Not quite such a good start for Peter Broxholm, back down in about 8th or 9th place. Look at the man in second though, 43 years of age now. That is DK to his friends Daryl King. Scott Collum in there as well. Collum coming off a very successful New Zealand Supercross Championship Series. Been out of the sport for a couple of years.
Yeah, suffered a serious knee injury the previous 18 months before. It is Kane Lamont with the early race lead here.
Well, another one of these New Zealand riders as he scrubs the big jump here at Timaru. Another one of these riders that has spent a fair bit of time overseas. He was in England last year, learnt a lot. When you consider he's just out of the juniors, that's an amazing performance. There is Daryl King.
Well, that's the other end of the spectrum. 43 years young, and he's still up there with the best.
And he's the benchmark. If you want to go to Europe and perform well, you've got to get past the King boys, and the best of them is Daryl. And there he is, bike number 1, the DK Rockstar YZ250 two-stroke machine. The only two-stroke, I think, in the MX2 class. But that's the bike he likes to ride.
Yeah, he won the title on the two-stroke last season, of course, the MXDK Rockstar Yamaha team.
There is Scott Collum. Just got a glimpse of him there.
Collum with not the greatest of starts, New Zealand Supercross champ.
There is Scott Collum chasing down Kieran Lee by the look of it on the KX250 out of Cambridge. Kieran, another one that's had a whole lot of overseas experience in Australia predominantly. Scott, of course, has done the World Championships in Europe and also a couple of seasons in the British Motocross Championships. Has have a lot of these competitors, and there's absolutely nothing in this. The Kawasaki KX250F and the Suzuki, and Collum trying to get around the outside, just uses the boom and will carry the momentum and passes Lee, so he moves up a spot now.
Yeah, massive layout here in Timaru, the Backflips motocross track, 1.9 kilometres long.
Collum just working his way away from Kieran Lee now. This is what's happening at the front of the field though. Kane Lamont holding on to the front running, but DK says no, I'll just dive up the inside and take the pass. So Daryl King, the defending MX2 champion on his two-stroke Yamaha, goes into the front. Kane Lamont back into second place. Then we go back to Daryl Hurley by the look of it. So a good comeback from the X250 MX1 champion of New Zealand and Australia. There he is, Hurley in the background from Hawera. Concentrated over the last couple of years on getting his Suzuki business up and running in Taranaki. Also concentrating on healing from a fairly badly broken leg.
Reece Carter, Luke Burkhardt not too far away. Peter Broxham in that battle inside the top 6 as well.
Collum starting to make a move through here as well. So, whoa, and he nearly looped it out going over the double here at Pleasant Point, the Backflips motocross track. So he is trying. Another one that's kept fairly high profile since the Supercross Championships.
Making the pass there on Luke Burkhardt in the CMR KTM. There's Peter Broxham going through.
So Collum working on Broxham, something he's done a few times before over the seasons. Out in the front, it is DK, the oldest man on the circuit. This is Scotty Collum from Queenstown, the Outdoor Adventure sponsor, the Suzuki New Zealand sponsored RMZ 250.
It's a lot drier on one half of the circuit. It's a bit softer and muddier on the other side, Phil. So changing conditions, what tyre choice do you think these guys are going to go with over the day?
Well, it's I guess it's up to the team manager and the engineers and the mechanics to sort it out with a fair bit of rider input. I know that Daryl's pretty picky about what tyres he runs, but whatever tyres he's running, they're working because he still leads it. Just got a glimpse of the side of Collum's bike there. Luke Burkhardt in there at this chase as well. There's Daryl Hurley. There's Peter Broxham by the look of it. So they're all coming to play here as the laps wind down. In fact, there is number 99. That's Luke Burkhardt.
Reece Carter just in behind him in the 6.
And Carter's come through from a terrible, terrible start. So he's worked harder probably than this man. But this is the race leader in and out of the whoops here at the Backflips motocross track. Daryl King, DK to his friend, draws first blood in the MX2 class and he wins it and wins it well. In second place it will be Queenstown Scott Collum, and in third place it will be the Bay of Plenty's Reece Carter on the Suzuki. Fourth place another Suzuki and Daryl Hurley, and in fifth the first of the Hondas, that is Peter Broxham. Sixth place Luke Burkhardt.
How was the race, Daryl?
Oh, good race, yeah. I was in second after the start and passed Kane Lamont on about lap 3 and just put some hard laps in, some 2:01, 2 minute 1 second lap times, and pulled a bit of a gap and just just wanted to save some energy for the last race. The last race here is brutal. I remember last year it was really physical, so just thinking about that. And I just rode smart, didn't do anything, didn't even ride fast really. I just rode smooth and took good lines, did all the jumps every lap, and my WSJ 250 was fantastic. So yeah, went to plan.
I finished second in the first race. I started about 12th place and had a lot of work to pass the riders and got in behind DK. So the ride was good, but I only want to be first place, you know. So 2 more motos and go for 2 wins, and then I'll be happy. But I'm quite angry at the minute for not getting that win.
Welcome back to Timaru, Pleasant Point, for round 1 of the New Zealand Motocross Championships. MX1, race number 2 in a pack gate once again. Let's see who gets the whole shot this time round. Last time it was Hamish Dobbin. Is it going to be Dobbin again? It might well be. Oh, and he just gets it a little bit wrong as they go over the jump before turn number 1, and that might have cost him.
Townley got a much better start that time. At least he didn't put the bike down in the first straight to turn number 1.
Well, he's got the perfect start because he's got the whole shot and he's already starting to pull away. The Carlton Drive Bellray Honda CR450F rider, 2004 World MX2 champion in the United States of America, the AMA East Coast Supercross champion, a standout on the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team for Mitch Payton, and now back to his very best. There he is, 101, Ben Townley out of Taupo.
Well, that first heater had to have done wonders for his confidence because, you know, it did take a little bit of a shake last season with taking some time out, and this will just be perfect preparation for his upcoming season for the Carlton Dry team in Australia.
Well, his whole season in New Zealand's given his confidence a real good shake. He won in Woodville just a couple of weeks ago. He was dominant there. He won the summer cross in Wakatani earlier on in the year. Here's a man that could push him all the way. This is Justin McDonald. He was the MX1 champion a couple of seasons ago. This essentially his local track, so we definitely know what he's doing on there. Michael Phillipson behind him by the look of it on the CR450F.
Yeah, both of these riders contested the Australian Championship last season as well, as did Josh Coppins and Cody Cooper. J Mack on the Bellray Honda Troy Lee Designs Pirelli shod CRF 450.
And that is Josh Coppins right in behind him. And if you've got Josh Coppins on your tail, you've got to concentrate because Coppins is a charger. Look at this, down the inside, decides to just ricochet off the berm, pulls the tear off as the bike's in the air, and away he goes, picks up another spot. The thing with Josh is he's had that shoulder injury, and well, he hasn't had very good starts today here at Timaru, but he's the Iron Man of world motocross, not just New Zealand motocross, probably one of the fittest guys on the racetrack. And it shows as these 20 minutes plus 1 lap races weared them down.
Yeah, right in contention in the Australian Championship last season. He took it to Cody Cooper in the New Zealand title and just copped an ankle injury towards the end of that in New Plymouth and went down while leading in contention for the Aussie title at the last round.
Just look at the tenacity of Justin McDonald. He's staying right with Josh Coppins. This is second and third on your screen at the moment. Ben Townley is probably about another 15 or 20 seconds up the road. Such has been his dominance in the New Zealand summer.
Yeah, Cody Cooper struggling in this one. He's in behind Michael Phillips. Phillips running in the 4th position. Good to see him back after a pre-season injury.
Well, in the New Zealand Motocross Champs, it's like so many multi-round series. You can't necessarily win the championship in the first round, but you can very easily lose it. So Cody Cooper will be looking to get further up the field and bank maximum points here. 25 for the win. It's the FIM point scale. There is Cooper, past 125 champion of New Zealand, the current MX1 champion of New Zealand.
Just see with his body language, he just doesn't look entirely comfortable on that bike, considering what we saw last year in the motocross title, which he won, and of course this year's Supercross title, which he also won.
Just got a glimpse there of number 755. This is Kyle Stone from Te Awamutu. He's just outside the top 10 at the moment on his CRF 450. Seems to be the weapon of choice for the so-called privateers. This man, very far from a privateer, been a factory rider right throughout his career since he ventured to Europe as a teenager, all on his own.
Jesus, Townley in some form at the moment. Hamish Dobbin now, he's in a battle with Cody Cooper for that 5th spot.
And as I said before, great to see Hamish fit and riding well again on a Honda these days.
Yeah, racing out of Warkworth on the Cycle Spot Landscape Contracting CRF 450.
Justin McDonald just having a bit of trouble with some lap riders here as he tries to get around him. No problem at all once he gets the power to the ground.
I reckon Justin McDonald is one of the most spectacular riders in our sport. He just leaves nothing on the racetrack.
And when you consider that he's kind of a part-time rider, comparing him to the likes of Ben Townley and Josh Coppins, he's a carpenter by trade. He loves his classic cars as well. He's got a beautiful Chevy Impala.
This is Ben Townley in the back markers running there with Bjarne Fredriksson in the 151. So he's lapped everyone inside the top 10.
Bjarne Fredriksson's claim to fame is that he is the cousin of one Aaron Slight, and he's been up in Europe this past New Zealand off-season looking to go up again for the bike gym team up in England, based out of England. This guy, well, he wants to go to Australia and win the Australian Championship and then maybe consider going back to the United States of America or back to Europe.
Well, he's leading the New Zealand Championship at this point, and he's done this one easily. He is over 20 seconds in front of the chasing Josh Coppins.
So Townley will bank the maximum 25 points and make it 2 for 2, I would think, unless disaster befalls him. And that, unfortunately, has really sabotaged this young man's career. And he's still got time on his side. I think he's only 27 or 28 years of age. Ben Townley out of the Bay of Plenty, just too good for this MX1 field here in Timaru.
Oh, he's doing it easily. You can see how much ground he made up in that first moto, considering he put the bike down. This is a dominant victory for Townley in Moto 2.
So as you heard Jamie say, 20 seconds to the good of this man, Nelson's Lizard, Josh Coppins on the MXDK Rockstar Yamaha YZ450. So Ben Townley gets the win, and a comfortable win it is too. Josh Coppins is second again to his good friend, and in third place it is the past champion Justin McDonald. Fourth place is Michael Phillips, and in fifth, Hamish Dobbins.
So far, Ben Townley's been dominant in MX1. Daryl King taking the first heat victory in MX2. It's on to the second heat.
Waiting for the gate to drop here at the Backflips Motocross track. Watch for a good start once again from Kane Lamont. He was the whole shot artist in race number 1, and it looks like he's got into the front in race number 2 as well. Oh, a bit of a tangle up as they work their way over that little jump just before the turn 1 finishes. Good start too from Daryl King. Just got a glimpse of him there as he cuts his way through the dust, but it's the Suzuki out in the front, and that is Cambridge Kane Lamont. Once again, he's got the whole shot and starting to pull away. The other Suzuki third in the line there, I think, would have been Daryl Hurley. There is Scott Collum. He's got a bit of work to do, as has Daryl King.
Scott Collum struggling with these starts, and we saw that in the first moto where he worked his way up into the second position. Giving up a lot of ground in these opening laps, but the whole shot king, young Kane Lamont. We used to see Cam Dillon with the whole shots over the last couple of seasons in motocross and supercross on the Honda. Certainly very, very congested down into that turn number 1 in tricky conditions with the dust. You get over this backside of the circuit and there's lots of mud and dirt to play with, no dust to speak of.
And look at this, Lamont's just starting to pull away from the rest of the field here. He's got all the advantages, he's got nothing but clear track in front of him, and the gap is widening back to second place. As I said, this guy spent the New Zealand off-season up in Europe and based out of England. Looking to do that again, I think, this year, or maybe possibly go back to Australia. Daryl Hurley looks like he might have found his way up into second place now. Oh, Lamont's got a problem. He's got a mechanical issue here. He looked down at the side of the bike. There's a real problem for the young boy from Cambridge.
Is it a puncher? No, the rear tyre's inflated, so he's definitely got an issue.
It's a mechanical issue, just looking down at the side of the RMZ 250, so that's desperate bad luck. Now it remains to be seen if he can get that machine going and pick up some more valuable points. Another rider going down, and that is number 273, Royden White, quickly back onto his bike. In fact, only lost a couple of positions, so that's a very good recovery.
Well, Kane Lamont, there he is, still parked on the side of the track, just getting some assistance, looking to maybe get back into this race. So that hands the lead to Daryl Hurley, the veteran.
Well, the veteran indeed, past champion in Australia. Has one of the few New Zealanders to win a round of the World Supercross Championships. That was in the slop and the mud and slush of Spain a few years ago now. As we told you before, Daryl's sat out the last couple of years to not only get his business on a sure footing, but also get his leg back to 100% again. He broke his leg 2 seasons ago, and it was a massive, massive crash and a massive break for the very popular man from Taranaki. So Hurley in the front.
And that's what this motocross and supercross is all about. It's about survival and minimising those injuries, keeping you out of the sport. A lot of these riders have taken time away from the sport at various times. They've got another one down. That's a big off for one of the Honda riders.
Oh, and I've got a feeling that was Charles Curtis on the Honda. Luckily, he's going to walk away, but I'd say his day is done as well.
Geez, we're just talking about minimising injury, and we see a big off about that. It's all about management, I suppose, at the end of the day.
It is. It's about management and risk and reward. And this guy knows all about that. Number 1, the current MX2 champion, that is Daryl King. Here's a replay of that earlier incident. And that is Cade Adlam that Charles Curtis has just clipped. Adlam continued on, but unfortunately Curtis did not. But the good news is he got to his feet on his own and he was fine. Back to the race in progress. Race number 2 for the MX2 class.
So the battle to watch here now, behind Daryl Hurley, is the battle for second as Scott Collum is chasing down DK.
There is DK, there is Scott Collins. So Yamaha versus Suzuki. The 2-stroke Yamaha of Daryl King. You notice the different lines there. Collum using the berm just to carry the speed and get plenty of height as he doubles that big sky shot jump here at Pleasant Point. Now dives down the inside of DK and he makes the pass stick, and Daryl King's not going to fight about it. And that's one thing about Daryl King. He's a very fair rider. He thinks if you can get past me cleanly, well, that's okay.
And he knows at this early stage of the championship to not do anything silly. There's still 3 more rounds to go and 1 more moto this afternoon.
That's right. It's a test of man and machine as we catch the race leader once again, Daryl Hurley. That unmistakable style of the man from Taranaki, from Hawera these days, where he's a Suzuki motorcycle shop owner.
2 laps to go for the race leader. Hurley looking for his first race victory in a long, long time.
Yeah, and we've talked about psychological boosts and confidence builders. Well, that'll be a real confidence builder for Daryl Hurley, Hurls as he's known.
He's got about a 4-second advantage over Scott Collum, with Daryl King not too far behind the 442.
Now this is Tim Coleman. He's in danger of being lapped here before we see the checkered flag. There is the race leaders going through. So it's getting a whole lot closer now. There is Scott Collum. Just gone past Coleman was Daryl Hurley, so there's absolutely nothing in this. And I think the lad from Queenstown is chasing down the ex-New Zealand multiple champion, Scotty Collum, on the Suzuki.
Collum set the fastest lap, and he's a full second quicker than Daryl Hurley's best.
Well, you just got a glimpse there in the back of the shot of Scott Collum chasing down his Suzuki teammate here. Hurley has a bit of a nervous look behind. Down to the business end in this one. Is it going to be Daryl Hurley's first win on his comeback, or is it going to be Scotty Collum?
I think Hurley's got enough up his sleeve. The gap back to Collum still about that 4-second mark, so it's going to be Hurley with the victory in Moto 2 for MX2 here at the Backflips Motocross track.
Scott Collum just coming across the line in second place, and then it will be the defending champion. There he is in blue. That is Daryl King.
So Daryl Hurley with the victory in Moto 2 for MX2 from Scott Collum, Daryl King, Reese Carter, Ethan Martins, Luke Burkhart, Jaden Jessup and Sean Fogarty on the KTM.
Daryl, I think you surprised a few people out there. How was it?
I surprised myself actually. Once I got a good start. I've actually had 2 good starts so far, and first race I rode a bit tight. Second race I got out front and sort of set an early pace, and then started to get a little tired halfway through the race, so I backed it down a little bit and sort of just tried to bring it home really.
I didn't get a great start again and come from a wee way behind. I actually got into the lead with 3 laps to go, and just before the last lap of the race I got a flat tyre, the rear wheel went soft, and I led the last lap, but it was just too dangerous and Hurley got by me, so finished second place again, which I'm not happy about. So I got 1 more race for the day. A new rear tyre on, pumped up hard, and go for that win again, get that win.
Welcome back to the Backflips Motocross Park here in Timaru for round 1 of the New Zealand Motocross Championships. Been a long day for some of these riders as we get set for the third and final MX1 race of the day. Watch for the whole shot coming from Hamish Dobbin on the Honda. Is it going to be this time? No, it's a Suzuki by the look of it. No, it's another Honda, but I don't think it's Hamish Dobbin. I think it might be Ben Townley again that's led them out of turn 1.
Couple just running off course, getting caught up in the ticker tape on the side of the racetrack. It is Townley back out in front. Coppins with a better start. Cody Cooper with a much better start than Moto 2.
So we've got the heavy hitters at the front of this field. 20 minutes plus 1 lap. And there he is, BT 101, Ben Townley. He has been the dominant figure here in the MX1 class, just as he was at the Woodville Grand Prix, the 51st Honda-sponsored Woodville Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. And this dominance continuing for Townley. Plenty of air over these big jumps here at the Backflips Motocross Park in Timaru. Coppins through into second place now. Cody Cooper back into third. But Townley just pulling away with ease, Jamie.
Well, he won the second moto by, get this, 25 seconds. I am not kidding. Over 2 of New Zealand's best. You know, Coppins is no slouch, and Cody Cooper, the reigning 1NZ, they had nothing for Townley in that second race.
He's being chased down by his very good friend here, Josh Coppins. They spent a lot of time together in Europe, chasing their dreams over there. Unfortunately for Josh, he never quite got to the top step of the podium. Finished second a few times in the 250s and also in the MX1 competition. Should have won it in 2007, but his bike had a malfunction, his Yamaha malfunctioned, and it cost poor old Josh the title. He had a huge points lead at the time. His last years in Europe spent on the Aprilia motocross machine. Here is Cody Cooper out of the Bay of Plenty.
Yeah, he's just struggled here a little bit this weekend in Timaru, a track that he has said during the weekend is not one of his favourites. He'll be looking forward to the second round of the championship at Paddy Tonga.
Well, he will, because he always goes very well there on the red clay. That's sort of one of his home tracks. He's raced the Thames Championship there, the Waikato Championship there, the New Zealand Championships, of course. He is the defending MX1 champion, but he's playing second fiddle to Ben Townley and this man, Josh Coppins, for the moment. The Lizard, with his familiar number 6, the MXDK Rockstar Yamaha, races for the Craig Dack motocross team in Australia, in the Australian Motocross Champs. This guy races for Jay Foreman on the Suzuki Australia team. But here he rides for Moto City out of the Bay of Plenty.
Now his fastest lap is 2 seconds slower than Townley's and a second slower than Josh Coppins. So that's a highlight that Cody Cooper is struggling as we go back to that battle that we saw from last year again.
Yeah,
J Mac and Mikey P.
Mikey P coming back from injury, didn't contest the New Zealand Supercross titles this year, and his one-time teammate Justin McDonald on the Bell Ray Honda CR450Fs. Oh, and Mikey P makes a mistake, just run it a little bit wide. I'm sure he was trying to use that berm there and he's got caught up in the fence. And this is costing valuable time, and that means valuable points. You see the spectators helping Michael Phillips as well. Well, he's no stranger to drama. You may remember, if you followed motocross for a long, long time, a couple of seasons ago he lost the MX2 title when he was disqualified for going backwards on the course in Taranaki. Here it is again, you see, he just gets tangled up with Justin McDonald. And while they're good mates off the circuit, there's no love lost on. McDonald continues on his way, but poor old Michael Phillips out of Rotorua, stranded in the fence.
Well, Phillips able to continue on, so that gave a spot to Hamish Dobbin.
Action on your screen here is Justin McDonald just putting one of the riders a lap down, and that was Tom Hughes on the KTM 450 SX. This is further down through the field. Bike number 7, this is Shannon Hewitson, and right in behind him, Jesse Donnelly. Now, Jesse Donnelly is the son of a famous father, and Sean Donnelly races in the New Zealand Road Racing Championships in the Post-Classic Series.
Yeah, that battle just outside of the top 10. They've got Nick Saunders up ahead of them on the Kawasaki.
Here is the race leader. This is Ben Townley, and he's been this way 2 for 2 so far. I think he's going to make a clean sweep of it here in Timaru and gain the maximum 75 points for round 1 of the New Zealand Motocross Championships. From here, we go to Paddy Tonga, and then it is to Harrisville in Auckland, and the final round will be at Digger McEwen Motocross Park in Taupo, this man's home track. Ben Townley, whether he can afford to have a look behind, and we can tell him that there's the dots in the distance are second and third. Such has been his dominance here.
Out over 15 seconds, and he's able to do his fastest laps towards the end of each of the motos, and he's just done that Josh Coppins is only a tenth slower, but I don't think he's got that consistency through to the end of the race.
No, well, it just shows you that Townley's fitness is coming up, and a few years ago now there was a survey done and it was determined that professional motocross, and that's what these guys do, is the second most physically demanding sport in the world. The first most demanding sport was professional soccer. I'd say it's the other way around. I'd say this is a bit more harder on the body. Checkered flag about to come out for Ben Townley. He makes it a clean sweep in the MX1 class here at the Backflips motocross track in Timaru. There is your second place man, Josh Coppins. He'll be happy to get out of Timaru with a good points haul and get his championship campaign on track.
Knowing Josh, he'll be disappointed, but he's within striking distance for round number 2. Ben Townley with the victory in Moto 3 from Coppins, Cody Cooper, Justin McDonald, Hamish Dobbin, Mason Phillips, Brad Groombridge and Mikey P.
Track was tough actually. It was a lot rougher and technical. Actually slowed it down, which I liked a lot. You know, you had to pick and choose where you could go fast and really use a lot of technique out there in some of the ruts. So it was, I enjoyed the last moto more than any time I was on the track today.
Obviously, you must be pretty satisfied having the red plate going into Paddy Tonga. It was obviously good start.
Yeah, really good start to the series, especially after how the first race started. You know, it's took a little bit for me to get my head around that, and once I did, I obviously ended up winning the moto and winning all 3 today. So it was not, can't ask for a better way to start the series, and obviously for the first time for me in a while to race in New Zealand. So yeah, pretty happy with it.
BT was too good today, and I did the best I could do. Didn't think I rode bad, but need to be a little bit better.
Obviously the track, how was the track in that last one? Bit of dust around?
A little bit, it was pretty tricky. They put some water down, it was slick, it was slippery, it was bumpy, yeah, it was tricky. You had to really keep your wits about you and not do anything silly.
3 wins from 3 starts sees Ben Townley heading to round number 2 with the maximum 75 points ahead of Josh Coppins, Justin McDonald, Cody Cooper, Michael Phillips and Hamish Dobbin completing the top 6. Welcome back to Timaru and the Backflips motocross track, the first round of the New Zealand Motocross Championships, the final moto of the weekend, and it's MX2. Daryl King with a 1-point lead over Scott Collum as they take the start.
Now, will it be Kane Lamont again getting the best start? No, it's a Honda by the look of it, coming over from the centre of the circuit. And the ones you're looking out for is a couple go down in turn number 1.
Oh, that was a messy start at the start of Moto 3.
Well, the ones we're looking out for is number 1, and that's Daryl King and Scott Collum, because they are very, very close on points, because we're talking a championship here, folks. This is just the first round. But if you can go from here to Patatonga with a points lead, that's very good. Here it is on the replay. It got very messy, as James said, in turn number 1. 3 getting caught up, 1 going down. This is what's happening at the front of the field, though, as they crest a big hill, and they are side by side. Campbell King on the Honda, inside of him and taking the front running. That is Luke Burkhardt out of Masterton, a junior national motocross champion. Another one that had a couple of seasons off, went prey fishing with his dad, back on the KTM though. Dominated the MX2 class at the Woodville Grand Prix just a couple of weeks ago, so he comes here with a fair bit of form.
And you were right, Phil, with the Honda hole shot, it was Campbell King, and just to his outside it was Burkhardt off the race start. Daryl King, the next best. No sign of Scott Collum. He's lamenting his slow starts today and looking for his first victory here in Moto 3.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. He's going to really have to work hard, not only to keep this man in sight, but also to keep Daryl King in sight as well, because it is so close in the points between those two, and also with Daryl Hurley and Reece Carter. We haven't seen too much of Reece Carter today, but he's worked his way from the back of the field on his Suzuki. He's another one that suffered from poor starts. This man, well, he's got a flyer. Over the top he comes. There is Daryl King. The meat and the sandwich at the moment is the man from Dunedin, and that is Campbell King.
Reece Carter with a 3rd and a 4th. He's been pretty consistent, but like Scotty Collins, just struggled at the race starts.
Yeah, I think we just got a glimpse of him in that the back of that shot, so he's probably inside the top 10 now.
Peter Broxham.
Peter Broxham. He's another one that hasn't had good starts.
They've just gone past someone that stopped on the side of the track. That is Damien King.
Wow. Damien King not riding for his brother this year, but on a Honda, a privateer Honda. And he has had some bad luck here at Timaru. That's Jaden Jessup by the look of it on the KTM. He's working his way up towards the front of the field. But this man is at the front. And look who's chasing him down now. This is Scott Collum. Well, he might have had a bad start, but he's come through the field and now he's absolutely monstering Luke Burkhardt as they go past the lap scoring tower. So they've disposed of Daryl King, so he goes back into third place now. This is further back in the pack, 18th and 19th, Kent Morley and Sam Pottinger. This is the race leader now. Well, I maybe spoke too soon. Burkhardt comes back at him. They're side by side, handlebar to handlebar. Scott Collum holds the throttle on just a little bit longer and goes into the front. Well, he's picked up seconds all day here at Timaru. Is he going to get his first win in the third and final MX2 race of the day? Scott Collum on the Suzuki.
This is what he's been looking for. So he worked his way past Daryl King. Early race leader Luke Burkhardt just losing ground, and look how much ground he has lost in just, what, the space of half a lap.
Yeah, he's on it today. There's no doubt about that. Scotty Collum. There's Burkhardt just coming into the dip. As Collum whips it for the big crowd here at Timaru. And Daryl King looks like he's getting a little bit closer to Luke Burkhardt. One thing you don't want to do, Jamie, is discount Daryl King. Problems on the side of the track there, and I got a feeling that was number 213, Cade Adlam. Now, he's been in the wars here at Timaru because he was involved in an incident in the second MX2 race with Cooties. As we watch the development here, because Daryl King is now getting monstered by Daryl Hurley. Now, have we lost Luke Burkhardt? Haven't seen Burkhardt go by. Race leader still is Scott Collum.
Yeah, Burkhardt's lost some ground in that last lap. He's outside of the 6.
Here's Reese Carter, number 6. So once again, he's had a bad start, but he's starting to cut his way through the field.
Peter Broxham.
Running
with him on the Honda.
This is the Botany Honda CRF 250 of Broxham. Runs a very successful training scheme right throughout New Zealand. Is responsible for a lot of the coming on stream of a lot of the junior riders around New Zealand. A very good rider in his own right. We go back down to the field inside the top 20 at the moment. Luke Richmond and Charles Cooties. We mentioned Cooties before. He was involved in that crash in the second MX2 race. This is the third and final MX2 race of the afternoon here in Timaru, and out in the front it is Scott Collum.
Also running in that battle just inside the 20, Sam Pottinger and Jordan Wilson. Wilson on the 547 bike.
This is Daryl King, number 1, the defending MX2 champion. Right in behind him, it is Daryl Hurley. 2 laps to go here at Timaru. There is Scott Collum. You just got a glimpse of him there. He's got a good-sized lead at the moment. Oh, Peter Broxham's got some problems. Oh, Pete, hang on to it, son.
Got off the seat, and that was all it took, and that's upset his run. It's allowed Ethan Martins to get through into the 5th position.
Ethan Martins, another one that's made the step up. He was the 125 champion last year, the under-21 champion. This guy is a New Zealand Supercross champion, and he is about to win his first race here at Timaru if he can keep it shiny side up. Scott Collum out of Queenstown. Some people say that he has got the best job in the world. He leads the off-road adventures company that his family sets up in Queenstown. And there he is, heading down towards the checkered flag now. Very popular rider.
He's going to lead this championship too, with DK back in second. DK had a 1-point lead going in.
Looks behind to see where the opposition is, takes the checkered flag, looks behind again just to see where Daryl King is. There he is across the line and just waiting for the 3rd place man, and that will be Daryl Hurley. And there he is. So a good result for Scotty Collum. He wins the 3rd and final MX2 race from Daryl King, the defending champion, and Daryl Hurley in 3rd place. 4th place, another good strong performance from Reese Carter, and in 5th it's Ethan Martins.
Just happy to get the win, you know. Unfortunate not to get it in the second race, and yeah, I had not a great start but better, and got into the lead reasonably soon and had a good sized lead and kind of just rode smooth and won the race easy, you know. So I'm leading the series now, and it's still close and there's still 3 rounds to go, but you know, to finish the day being the fastest and walk away with the number 1 plate is good for my confidence and good for my sponsors Suzuki and Fox and Alfords and Pirelli tyres.
I want to get a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd, and that's what I got today. So and to be 2 points behind Scott Collum is pretty good. And think I was 10 behind the Australians last year when I left here and went back to Paddy Tonga for the second round and won that day. And the good thing about the next tracks, I really like them, and tracks I've ridden on for years and years, so I know how they've got to be ridden. But overall, totally happy. Didn't make any stupid mistakes, didn't hurt the body. But it's a track you got to respect. It's some big jumps out there, eh? It's a blast to ride, but you got to respect it.
Well, MX2 was very, very close during the first round. Scotty Collum heading to round number 2 in Paddy Tonga with a 2-point lead over Daryl King, followed by Daryl Hurley, Reese Carter, Ethan Martins and Luke Burkhardt.
Next up for your viewing pleasure, it's World Championship Jet Sprinting, or WSJ for short. This time, it's the 1,000 horsepower superboats from the Smith Brothers Quarry in Taupo.
Halfway through its 6-event program, World Series Jet Sprinting moves to Taupo in the center of New Zealand. Deep in the South Pacific, New Zealand is a wonderland of adventures and geysers. Taupo is a mecca for all forms of water sports and is a fitting place for the excitement that is round 4 of World Series Jet Sprinting Superboat. The road to this season's Superboat crown began in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest of America. The chase would pit experience against you, and the first round saw a thrilling duel between the young Australian lion Leon Smale and the old fox of jet sprinting Eric Hoxima in the red boat called the Kiwi Express. The pair dueled all day, swapping times and trading margins in the hundredths of a second. And in the end, it was Hoxima who came out on top. While both of them have been fighting for the minor money, Kiwi Peter Bryant in the New Zealand Seafoods yellow and blue boat, built by his brother, was in a class of his own at round number 1.
We got it, and comfortably, like I didn't feel that we were really stressing out about it or having to go, past our comfort zone.
Well, you got another round next weekend. I mean, you seem to have the legs on everybody else, but that's not jet sprinting, is it?
Oh hell no! You saw some quite nasty accidents today, and that can happen to anyone. And we've got to you got to be careful. You got to take each round as it comes and just tread carefully.
Round 2 saw competitors make the 400-mile journey to Richland, a farming community on the Columbia River in Washington State. Set in the high desert, the course was brand new to World Series. The course may have been new, but again, it was Hoxima who was on the money. However, major engine problems saw him out for the rest of the day. Leon Smale drove the wheels off of his 1,200 horsepower superboat in an attempt to stay with Peter Bryant, but had to settle for second place.
The run was rough as guts, but don't know how it managed to be that fast, but it was, so it's good.
More to come?
Yeah, if we smoothen it up, it should be around the 46s, maybe, if we're lucky.
Maybe wasn't even close, and once again, Peter Bryant was totally dominant. A A second faultless performance netted him maximum points in his quest for a second World Series crown.
I didn't think we'd get that much advantage on the other field because there's less traps out there, I guess. You know, you had to be much more on it at Spokane.
The final round of the U.S. leg of World Series Superboat was in Marsing in Idaho. The track was fast and open, and again Leon Smale looked good, matching qualifying times with Peter Bryant. But for the youngster, disaster in round number 8. He went the wrong way, putting him on the trailer for the day. The surprise of round number 3 was the American racer Mark Roberts in a boat that he had built and designed himself. Roberts pushed hard all day on his home track, but couldn't catch the flying Kiwi, Peter Bryant. Complaining of a lack of power, Bryant still outdrove the opposition. If the boat wouldn't do the job, Bryant could, pushing as hard as anybody had seen in this series. He came close to the edge, but in the end was just too good. So as the series hits a halfway distance, Peter Bryant has a comfortable lead on the hard-charging Aussie Leon Smale. Could he keep up his amazing performance?
You won the US Open, US Championship, you just won the New Zealand Championship. We're here for the second part of World Series. How's it going to be for you?
Oh, well, it's going to be even harder again. I think, you know, those other guys have really picked up the pace and the competition's as tough as it's ever been. So, yeah, well, you know, there's only one way you can go when you've won it, and that's down, really, isn't it?
Certainly a class field. When you look at the Superboats, it's as good as you're going to see anywhere in the world. And you know, other than the big number of competitors and well-presented boats, some really serious competition. I mean, be a brave man to pick who's going to be a champion at the end of today.
World Series Part 2, how's it going to be for you?
Good luck, it'll be all good, but yeah, it's a fair bit of tough competition here. We'll see how we go.
You had a chance yesterday to have a look at the track. How's it going to be for you?
Yeah, it's good. The track suits the big block, that's for sure. It's a good flowing track. The rotation's really good on it.
As well as the competition, which is looking stiff. The course here at Taupo is a real nail-biter. A tricky rock-based 6-island course, shallow at the edges. The course is renowned for its many traps for those who push it just a little bit too hard.
Great, it's a very challenging course. It's going to be very fast, but there are some areas out there that are very tricky and there's going to be a lot of spills, and it could be one of those days that the last man standing wins.
Unfortunately for David, it would be his son Leon who would find out how tricky Taupo can be.
Trying to move that much weight that fast around the corner. The weight wants to go one way while you still want to go around the corner. It just doesn't work.
The sensation of qualifying was Australian racing driver Nathan Pretty.
Normally you race a touring car, must be a hell of a lot different. What's the difference in the technique?
You've got to tighten the old clutch strap a bit more, I guess, in this thing, you know, because you arrive at the corners so fast, you just got to keep playing through your mind that, you know, it'll get around it virtually as fast as you want to do it, you know, you just off the throttle a bit and back on it, you know, you've only got the one pedal to slow you down and back into it.
New Zealand Open here in Taupo, round number 4, the top 8 qualifiers in Superboat of 51.98. Peter Coey on top, followed by Nathan Pretty, Chris Barnes, Eric Haksima, Peter Bryant, Rodney Poyo, Kevin Burke, and David Smale. And sitting in here with me today is Phil Dark. Take it, Phil.
Thanks very much, Big Jack. Well, this is David Smale on the journey in Gates. Now, this machine, as we've told you so many times before in World Series, has got a huge horsepower engine, but he pays the price for a little bit of extra weight. Have a look as he works his way towards the split time here at Taupo. Brand new circuit here, just 30 kilometres from the centre of New Zealand's North Island. That's where Taupo is at, and this is the Australian all the way from Perth. This is David Smale. His son Leon, will see him later on, but at the moment we're watching David coming up towards the split now. He'd want to be around about the 31, 32 second mark.
Man, there you are. Split time of a 30.93. Very interesting scenario we've got here with the Smale family from Perth, Australia. Dad Dave, that is on the track right now, is going to be leaving the boat and concentrating on backing his son Leon Smale, who is not into the field of 8. And when we get done here, there's only going to be 4 going into the semifinals. So what David Smale going to be able to do with 1,200 horsepower Stinger hull? It will show 55.08. 55 and a 08 for David Smale.
Well, pretty good time there for the Australian. Next one to go, Kiwi Addiction. This is Kevin Burke. Saw Kevin have a huge accident up in Idaho in the first few rounds of World Series, but now back into his own boat, repaired and ready to go. Berkey from the Waikato doing a fantastic job.
You know, Phil, it's an interesting scenario here because in Spokane at the American leg of World Series, it was a nasty, nasty crash, totally destroying the Kiwi Addiction boat. So for Kevin Burke, it's kind of like a learning curve all over again. Take a look at the clock on our split time, 30.08.
Well, Jack, I guess that's why they call it Kiwi Addiction 2. As you said, a brand new boat, and Kevin Burke right amongst it here. That's a very competitive time. You'll see him getting very close to the island there. Navigator doing a fantastic job for him as well.
All right, as we take a look at the finish line here, Kiwi Addiction. Maybe they want to put David Smale in front of them with a qualifying time of a 53.69. I don't think that's going to be much help for him. We'll see.
Well, maybe bad luck for the Kiwi, but this man probably needs no introduction to the fans here at Taupo. This is Rodney Poio. You know, Jack, in America, when you talk about quarterbacks, you talk about Joe Namath. When in jet sprinting, you talk about pilots, you talk about Rodney Poio. He's been away from the scene for a little while, but he's back and back with a vengeance in the Aussie boat, Crombie Holden. Man, oh man, this guy is something special.
And for Rodney Poio, sitting next to him is Mike McDonald. You can tell quite animated with the hand signals telling the driver which way to go. Rodney Poio running the Barlow Jeremy O'Driscoll big block engine, putting out about 1,300 horsepower on the split time. How's it going to help him? Look at there, 29.30.
First time we've seen a sub 30-second split, so Poio back to his very best. Oh, a bit of a problem there. That's going to cost him maybe a tenth, maybe 2/10 of a second. The Mark Crombie Holden sponsored machine just about out of the
so
water.
So far, David Smale is about a 55.08 and Kevin Burke with a 53.69. So David Smale is going to be on the bubble. Let's see what happens here with Rodney Poio for his time goes 54.10. 54.10. Now you get to see what it looks like from the track like all the other racers get to see it. It is Eric Hoxima being navigated by Andy Dahl. Not having a real good time in Richmond, Washington in the American leg because of having motor problems. Hoxima knows that he's going to have to put it in a sub 30-second pass if he can for the split time in order to get into the field of 4. The competition is stiff today.
Well, coming up to about the quarter-way mark here on this course in Taupo, he'd be looking for a sub 30-second split just to put the wood on Rodney Poio. Have a look what the man from Palmerston North can do. Coming up to that time now. There it is, 29.29.
I feel absolutely right. A 29.29 quickest for the split so far for the field of 8. Eric Hoxima, Kiwi Express. If there's a championship to win, he's probably won it at one time or another. Been doing this since the beginning of time. Eric Hoxima.
Captain Ehawk heading for the finish line now. It's going to be a pretty darn good time. Is it going to be good enough for the man from Palmerston North, the Auto Trans Specialist? Well, Eric Hoxima comes out of the warming pool as Peter Bryant and Robin Fox get onto the journey. This guy is the best of the best, Jack. There's no doubt about it. You saw up in America, he was on the podium more times than he was on the trailer. It's going to be the same here in New Zealand.
Peter Bryant is well aware what's been going on in front of him with sub 30-second split times. And if he can only throw the gauntlet down and getting maybe a sub 29, boy, the competition of the pitch will say, oh my, Peter Bryant and Robin Fox are on a tear. What's split time going to be? 28.93, 28.93.
Well, a fantastic split time for Peter Bryant. Now, the time to beat, you saw on your screen there, 52.93. I think he's going to smash that. Now, remember, this is only the top 8. We've still got to go down to the 4 and then the 2. Man, they're going to be doing around the 50-second mark.
The bubble mark right now established by David Smale is a 55.08. Looks like David Smale is going to be put on the trailer. What's Peter Bryant going to do? 52.85. Quick for class.
What's the plan? Just go through early on like this and just try and get into the 4 and then go for it?
Just try and get the track right. Remember it. Remember the bad spots. Just try and get through to the top qualifying.
We now have one fatality, if you will. David Schmale is now on the trailer. A new bubble time is at 54.10. The Exterminator with Chris Barnes being navigated by Amanda Moore. The split times have been dropping below 29 seconds. So for you, Phil, keep an eye on it. Take it. Oh, Chris Barnes, good pass.
Well, the man from Rotorua, no stranger to winning, but had a terrible time up in the United States in the first few rounds of World Series. But they've gone back, they've done a little bit more homework with the Kendrick dart, they've got it working a little bit better. They've tuned the boat. Have a look at the split. If it's anywhere near 29 seconds, he's in the hunt. He is.
All right, 29 and a 29. And hello, it's going to put him right to the same split time as what Haksima had earlier. He's got to run a 54.09 or faster to get him into at least a comfortable zone to possibly set him up for the final 4.
Well, he's gone faster through the split than he's ever gone before here at Taupo, so he's on target. Have a look as he works his way to the finish now, 52.57.
Yesterday was the first day I actually drove this boat, so just trying to tame it down and get into a groove at the moment.
Have you actually done any jet sprinting before today?
Yeah, I'd been driving Colin Parrish's boat, just a Group A, and getting used to the handling and the power of that, and then getting the opportunity to jump into this, grab it with both hands.
Well, all the crowd will be watching this guy. This is Australian Nathan Pretty. Now, most of his racing has been in tin tops, saloon cars in Australia, taking the onboard shots here. World Series jet sprinting from Taupo in the middle of the North Island. And if he can get a split time around about the 29-second mark, he's in the hunt, and that will be fantastic. He has had limited experience on the water, but man, he's a veteran of the asphalt wars in Australia.
Some people have been asking how much is too much when it comes to superboat racing. This was putting out almost 1,400 horsepower, 672 cubic inch, split time, 28.49, 28 and a 49. That is the quickest on the split time right now. So for the Australian racer, the race car driver, going from asphalt to water is not a problem at all. We're at 42 seconds. And a mad dash to the finish line.
Hey, Jack, we may be looking at something special here. This guy is amazing. He's amazing, as we told you, on the tar seal in Australia. Are we going to see a sub-52? Oh, we got stopped there. 51.65. What about the Australian Nathan Pretty?
That you've got this much of a margin on Peter Bryant, Chris Barnes, and in fact some of the others.
Could say yes, but really we go out and race our own game plan, and probably if you ask me that question tomorrow morning, I'd probably say yes. Right at the moment we're very focused on doing what we can do and what we feel we can do safely, if you like, at this stage, and there's a lot of racing to go.
Well, Peter Cowie didn't make the trip to the United States this year for the first round of the World Series. He figured if he got good results here in New Zealand, he could pick up the points.
Boy, what a great shot this is on board with Peter Cowie, navigated by Ian Stevens. Right now, Eric Haksima is on the bubble with a 52.93, so he's going to take that 52.92 or better to get into the final 4. A 474 Chevrolet built by Craig Hyland. I think we may be looking at a split time somewhere in the vicinity of below 28 seconds.
Well, Big Jack, a bit of a prediction for you, but you're spot on. 28.04, just about a 27. That would be the fastest we've seen. The NZ boat, the Macraft, Peter Cowie from Christchurch, Ian Stevens sitting alongside him. Are we going to see another sub-52-second run? He's already put 3 in the bag.
Matt Dash to the finish line. He's got to go a 52.92 or faster, and boom, 51.44. Eric Haksima is out. Peter Cowie goes to the final 4. And there you have it. Peter Cowie, Nathan Pretty, Chris Barnes, and Peter Bryant, your 4 fastest going into the semifinals.
I'm actually running with a few problems on the engine. I can't get it to run real clean at the top, so we're down a bit of horsepower, and we've been chasing our tails a bit there, so let's hope we can solve the problem.
The onboard camera with Peter Bryant, Robin Fox's position. He doesn't like to be in because he does not like being the slowest of the 4 into the final 4. And keep your eyes on the track, how rocky and gravelly this course is, and occasionally you get up too close close to the islands, it will slow you down and make a horrific noise inside as well. So far for Peter Bryan in field of India, 28.93 split time. He's got to be that or faster. There's been split times as fast as a 28.04 of Peter Coey. It's all or nothing at this point. You got 4 boats. The fastest 2 are going to be going into the final. Split time is off for him at a 29.02.
Bill, it's not going to be good enough, Jack. That's just not going to be good enough. And Peter's going to be upset. You heard him say in the interview they're having a little problem with the boat. He's really going to ride it home hard, but it's not going to be good enough, I wouldn't think. They're going to need to be around about the 51.5-second mark to get through to the 2. That's my prediction anyway. Maybe a little bit quicker than that. We may see a sub 51 before the day's out. Coming down to the finish line now. 52 is not going to be good enough. Peter Bryan's going to put it on the trailer. I don't think you'll go any further than this, Jack.
You're the man that's right behind Peter Coey. You surprised to be where you are?
No, I think we've got a good package. That's where we want to be, just in that top 4 somewhere. Peter's driving well, boat's going well, obviously. Yeah, we just want to be right there.
Well, right there is where he is. This is Chris Barnes from Rotorua. Sitting alongside him, Amanda Moore. Now, a bit like Nathan Pretty, a little bit of a pattern emerging here, Jack, because Chris Barnes is an ex-car racer, a brilliant rally driver, a champion in his own right, and he's certainly been a champion in this thing. Exterminator, the Macraft Kendrick Dart. Look for a sub 29-second split.
Chris Barnes had a 29.29 on the split time on the pass he made for the top 8 to get him into the field of 4. The field of 4 pass was a 52, excuse me, the field of 8 time was a 52.57. He wants to bring that down much further if he can. Split time 29 seconds on the nose. He drops it by 29/100ths of a second. Oh, Phil, keep your eyes on Chris Barnes, the Exterminator. He's on a great pass.
Well, he's going to have a great pass, Jack, because he's got to go sub 52. Hasn't been able to do it so far. A sub 52 is going to maybe be good enough to get in the top 2. Still to come, Peter Coey. And what about the Aussie, Nathan Pretty? He set them afire in the top 8. Look at Barnes, though, from Rotorua. He'll stop the clock, 51.75.
We are into the final 4. 2 have already happened with Peter Bryan and Chris Barnes. Here comes Nathan Pretty. He goes from the asphalt to the water, and there is a big learning curve, and I think he has learned it and learned it quite nicely. The time to beat right now to put yourself into the final 4, into the finals that is, from the 4 boats we've got, is going to be a Chris Barnes better time of a 51.75. He's got to run a 74 or better. Now keep in mind, the split times have been down low as well, but can the split time go as low as a 27 second? With Nathan Pretty, will show a 28.75, off just a little bit on the split time.
But don't be too hard on him, Jack. We saw before that he can really bring it home fast. This Jeremy O'Driscoll boat, Aussie Big Chief. Nathan Pretty, pretty much new to jet sprinting, but boy, oh boy, he's set the field afire here. The Aussie has commanded new respect at Taupo. World Series number 4, you're watching Superboats.
We're at 49, we go 50, 51, what's it going to be? A 51-15, 51-15 makes it to the finals.
Maybe on American time, Jack, but in New Zealand, that's a 51-13. Put your glasses on, big fella, and stand back, because here comes Christchurch's Peter Coey. He's been consistent under 52 seconds. Can he do it again? Ian Stevens sits alongside him. The 474 cubic inch Rodeck, prepared by Craig Hyland, one of New Zealand's best engine builders. Stevens just directing him off and on to the shallows.
This becomes the point where the adrenaline pumps. You are cutting islands closer than you have ever cut them before. Right now it is a Chris Barnes, Nathan Pretty final. Chris Barnes on the bubble of 51.74. Peter Coey knows what he's got to do with a 28.04 split time, identically what he had last time out. He's got to go up 51.74. Keep your eye on the clock.
Well, Peter Coey, he's the man to do it. A hallmark of his skill is how smooth he makes the boat look. And man, oh man, that boat is travelling, Big Jack. It's going faster than I think the NZ boat's ever gone before. 51 seconds coming up, 50.61. What about that? The first sub 51. And Christchurch's Peter Coey gets himself in the final and throws down the gauntlet. So Peter Coey is there with Australia's Nathan Pretty. New Zealand versus Australia, the age-old battle. That's the final 2.
Off the start line, that's quite important in actual fact, because it's the first opening straight is so close to the first corner, and so you need to keep your boat quite settled for that, otherwise you're in for a difficult time going up through the chicane. Bottom corner, first time you go in there it's good, second time it needs a fair amount of respect, and the third time you go in just as you're about to cross the finish beam, it's probably as high a risk as any.
Well, after 3 rounds of qualifying, getting into the field 16, whittling down to the 8 to the 4s, we now come down to this. We only have 2 remaining, and look who it is. It is Nathan Purdy and Peter Coey. Nathan Purdy from the Final Four with a 51.15, but he saw Peter Coey in the Final Four go off 50. Can he push it to a 50?
Jack, I think he can. The guy's got lots of experience on the asphalt, as we told you in Australia. He's the inline driver for the Holden Racing team. Doesn't mean much to you Americans, but it means a lot to the Kiwis and the Aussies watching this, because that is the team to be with. And Nathan Purdy has shown a lot of skill.
Well, 27.30 on the split time. This may be the pass of a lifetime for Nathan Purdy. He's got to run a 50-60 just to prove to Peter Coey that he is the man of the day. Coey got into the finals today with a 50-61. Keep your eye on the clock, and Phil's going to take you there. Here we go.
So Nathan Purdy getting down to the finish line now. He's got to be around the 51-second mark. The clock ticks over 50 seconds. 50.07. Can the man from Christchurch beat that, Big Jack? We will see as we're on board with Peter Coey and Ian Stevens. And man, oh man, look at the attitude of the boat, Jack. The nose down. Very, very smooth on the shallow sections here at Taupo. A rocky course. You heard Peter say in the interview, it really has been given some of the drivers problems.
You know, the pitch earlier, a lot of the drivers are walking around saying, will the track hold a 51-second, maybe even a 50-second? Now we're thinking to ourselves, maybe the track is going to be holding a 49-second pass, and if anybody has a chance to do it, it is going to be Peter Coey, 27.05. It is the fastest split time yet. We may be looking at a 49-second pass. I want a way to become the champion of the day.
Remember, Jack, I said earlier on in the program, I thought a 50-second pass would be good enough. I'm going to modify that now. I think we might see a sub-50 here, and Christchurch's Peter Coey is the man to do it. Have a look at the clock. It winds down now. Are we going to see a sub-50? There it is.
49.50. What a way to end the day with Peter Coey to 49.50. Man, oh man. So New Zealand open round number 4. Peter Coey comes out on top with a 49.50, and second place for Nathan Purdy.
This is awesome. This is, you know, what it's all about, these sprint boats. You know, it's fast and it's exciting, and you know, you're racing against other competitors and it's against the clock. So fastest person going to win on the day, and it was Peter. So good job.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
So at the end of round number 4 from Taupo in the Superboats, first place Peter Bryant, Leon Schmale at number 2, Chris Barnes number 2, David Schmale at number 4, Mark Robertson at number 5, number 6 Rudy Schuler, number 7 Ben Badiola, and number 8 Dale Barger.
For more than 50 years on Boxing Day, they have raced motorbikes on the cemetery circuit at Wanganui. This time it's 3 wheels, not 2, with the amazing sidecars.
Adding weight to the always popular sidecars, Australian Stacey Sellers had come out of an early retirement to again push the locals in this spectacular class.
Had a good practice beforehand, and now I've just got the hang of the track and got a bit of advice from Stacey and Brett, and really good advice, and I've listened to them, and we did really well, eh?
I think we did.
Wrapped.
Yeah, I think we should have pole after that, but yeah, a lot of other boys are going very quick, so it's going to be a lot, not too much in it, and I think, yeah, for spectator point of view, just watch out.
Well, this is race 2 for the sidecars, and watch for the start for Stacey Seller and Louise Blythe. That's them down on the inside, but a good start too for Steve Bryan and Dennis Simonson. Now I'm joined by the organiser here at Wanganui, the promoter if you like, and a man that knows all about sidecars, and that's Leighton Manell. Leighton, you've swung with Stacey, to put it, I guess, a proper way, and you know what all this is about.
Yes, Phil, dead right, mate. We had a bit of a play out there last year, and we started off really good, but she all ended in tears in the last race. But hey, we're back here. I'm talking behind the mic, feeling a lot safer this year. So we'll let you run us through it.
Well, that's right. You're probably notorious for the fact that you parted company to this part of the racetrack we're coming up to now, which is the Vesra Bridge.
Dead right, mate. Just outside the old morgue, to be honest. But hey, we are coming around here.
Have a look at this picture-in-picture here at Wanganui, a new innovation for 2008. Here is Stacey Seller and Louise Blythe. They're a race leader. You're on board here with Steve Braun and Dennis Simonson. And look how busy Dennis Simonson is as the swinger. Leighton, explain that to us, because it's a real physical beating for the swinger, isn't it?
It is, Phil. Yeah, on the back here, the G's that just pulling out of that corner there, going down to total span as he's heading there at the moment. You're really getting some G-force off the back of that bike, and the old arms are really starting to pump up with those last couple of laps.
Well, we see in this one that Stacey Seller not getting away as he did in race number 1. Steve Braun and Dennis Simonson, the number 1 rig. They are the national champions of New Zealand, making him more than honest here. Good battle for the minors too. Adam Unsworth and Stu Dorr in there, and also number 16, and that's Bert Walland and Charlie Bilby.
Yeah, no, Bert will be really stoked with the way things are going there. That Sharks front there looks like it wants to sink some teeth in the back of Adam there. He's eyeing him up quite nicely, but Bertie just swapped his motor actually and gone from a Honda he usually blows up, but he's jumped into a Suzuki this year and he appears to be really flying, so he'll be really, really wrapped sitting on the back of there.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Sharks jaws on the front of it, because everyone's made a comment about it.
Dead right, mate. She really does look the part out there, and like I say, here's another good battle coming up, and this is Dave Annan jumping up beside their Desi. So, these guys will battle away. It's going to see what's happened here.
Well, this is a battle for the minors, and Dave Annan down the inside looking for racing room, but Des James shuts the door on him. This is a battle just inside the top 10. Out in the front, still Stacey Seller and Louise Blythe. The Wanganui, Australia, the Trans-Tasman combination, but this is where all the racing is at the moment. Round into Suzuki they come. Look at the way they just throw themselves from side to side to try and make the turn into the Robert Holden corner now. Des James just picks up a little bit of advantage, but down the inside comes Davey Annan, and as they head down into the Mitre 10 corner, I think Annan might have it. No, he hasn't. Des James shuts the door. You'd think this was the battle for first and second, Leighton, but they're just inside the top 10.
I'll tell you what, Phil, yeah, Davies, he just isn't quite holding that juice button open enough, but Des is fighting away. They're really doing a good job on that short bike right in front. So, short versus long, great battle here, but definitely Stacey riding away at the front.
Well, you mentioned the short bike versus the long bike. Tell us a little bit about it. Which is better around here at Wanganui?
Well, here we go, back to the front here. Now, I'll come back to it. These two long bikes here, they're both World Cup bikes. We're looking at both LCRs, both Suzukis. So, they're a proven machine, the long machine. Well, here's Richie and Chris Lawrence making a battle, making their way through too. They've got a slow start, but long bikes, they tend to handle a little bit better and a bit better on a faster course. This is very short, as you know, mile long, and very dominating, so the short bikes can hang in here quite well.
And of course, these guys on your screen now, the number 5, the Red Baron Motorcycles Yamaha, Chris and Richie Lawrence have made the move up from a short bike to a long bike over the last season. Yeah, well, it's, as you say, Phil, Chris wasn't too keen on it to start with, but I tell you what, after last year's success, he sort of got forced onto it. They really took off. They're having a good battle with one of the local combinations, Wanganui's Darryl and Scott Dowman.
Yeah, and also right behind them, I see the girls there, Tracy Anderson and Kelly Minell, just in your picture there. They'll be pleased with themselves. They'll really be having a good old battle there, so well done to them.
Well, I was talking to the girls before the race started, and they said they thrive on the fact that they can beat some of the blokes, and they do it quite well.
Exactly. I'll tell you what, there's a good little battle going on here. It looks like Darren's giving old Chris a bit of a wave, and as they're heading down, he looks like he's put the juice button, and I think he's got him. Oh, a bit of a Liverpool kiss going on there, so well done.
Well, I was just going to say there's a little bit of toing and froing in there, and you saw it for yourself. The Lawrence brothers had enough of it. 19 comes to grief. That's Mick Paul and Paul Blinkhorn, another Wanganui combination.
Yeah, the total span machine, good machine. That he's obviously come over the railway lines and spun out, but he'll be a bit disappointed with that. So back to the front, but it still appears that Stacey's absolutely romping away. The two bikes at the front are really humming.
Well, it shouldn't be a surprise. He holds all the records here at Wanganui. He had a real good run at the week before in Mansfield. So this is the first time in as many years as anyone can remember that there's been a lead-up event to the racing here at Wanganui. It's part of a Triple Crown series. From here, we'll go to Taupo. Right now, though, we're watching Stacey Seller, and already he is into the lap traffic. The other thing we've got to talk about, Leighton, and you know this better than anybody, is that young Louise Blythe probably weighs, 50 kilograms dripping wet? Yeah. You're 100 plus. How does Stacey compensate for the difference in weight?
Really different. Don't know about the 100 plus, but hey, that's definitely, she's like a sack of spuds on the back there. I think we're into the final lap. Old Bronny had a good old go at shooting up the inside there on Stacey, but he's looked like he's hit the old power button and go. But certainly the bike, his handle's a lot more lighter in the fast end. Yep, as we see, the old end of the run there. Great run by Stacey again, and Stevie right up there.
So Stacey Seller gets another win here at Wanganui. Second place is Steve Braun and Dennis Simonson, and in third it's Adam Unsworth and Stu Dorr. Fourth place, Michael Walland and Charlie Bilby, and in fifth, it's Dave Annan and Warwick Demos.
Thanks again for watching. See you next week.
You'd have to say it, we're back on board with the circuit here at Para. Here's the race leaders. Oh, there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers and through the smoke we come. What a crack!